Have you ever made a choice and you just knew deep down that, like, it was going to change everything?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're diving into a poem today that gets at that feeling, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. You know, the one everyone thinks they know.
Right.
We're going to find out it's way more complicated and interesting than just, like, take the path less traveled.
Definitely. A lot of depth to uncover there.
Yeah. So to start, for anyone who might not be familiar with Frost, he was this super influential American poet, writing mostly in the early 1900s.
Yeah, and he was really a master of taking these ordinary experiences, like everyday stuff, and finding this like profound meaning in them.
Totally. The Road Not Taken is from his collection Mountain Interval, which came out in 1916, I think,
Yeah, that's right.
and it's one of his most famous. So to understand why, let's go through it stanza by stanza and see what we find. Okay, so first stanza. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. It starts. Already I can picture it, like that classic fall scene.
Oh, for sure. The imagery is so vivid.
What do you think about him setting the poem in autumn?
It's a really clever choice, I think. Autumn's not just about the pretty colors. It's a time of a transition of things dying, but also like seeds being planted for new life.
Ooh, I like that.
It kind of mirrors that feeling of being at a crossroads, like things can't stay the same, you got to make a change. And I think it's interesting too because Frost, he was actually a farmer before he became a full-time poet, so he had this like deep understanding of those cycles of nature.
That's right. He knew about change firsthand. Okay, so the speaker in the poem, he's standing there looking at these two roads, and he wishes he could take both. He says, sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler.
Classic dilemma, right? Wanting to have it all, experience everything.
Yeah, totally. It's like the ultimate FOMO?
Uh-huh, totally. But I think it also sets up that central tension that runs through the whole poem. It's not just about choosing between two roads, but about the tension between what we can experience and what we have to leave behind when we make a choice.
Well, that's good. I like that. Okay, on to stanza two. So now he's picked a path, the one that was grassy and wanted wear. But then he admits that both paths were worn, really about the same. What's going on there? Is he being straight with us?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting, I think. It's almost as if the speaker is trying to convince himself and us that he's chosen the road less traveled, the more adventurous option.
Right, like he's a rebel or something.
Exactly. But by admitting they were worn about the same, Frost is hinting at this element of self-deception.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, do we all do this to some extent? Do we tell ourselves little stories to make ourselves feel better about the choices we make?
Whoa, that's heavy. I can totally relate to that. And it makes you question the whole poem? Okay, so then we're on to stanza three. And he's walking down this path he's chosen. He talks about the leaves, how no step had trodden black. Like there's all this potential on both paths, but he knows he can't go back now.
Yeah, that imagery is so powerful. And then there's that line, oh, I kept the first for another day. It's almost heartbreaking. We all have that tendency to cling to this idea that we can have it all, that we can come back later and try the other option.
Right, like we can have our cake and eat it too.
Exactly. But Frost, through the speaker, is acknowledging that that's just not how life works. Every step we take, every choice we make, it changes the landscape. It changes us. And there's no going back.
Oh, that's deep. I never thought about it like that. Okay, so stanza four. Things get even more real. He says, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. He's basically admitting that this choice has ripple effects.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's such a powerful insight. It's that realization that choices compound on each other. One decision leads to another and another, and before you know it, certain options are just no longer available. It's not necessarily about regret, but about understanding that there's this like flow to life, and we're constantly shaping our own destiny with each step we take.
Okay, so now we're at the last stanza. And this is the one everyone quotes, right? He's looking back, years later, and he says, taking that road has made all the difference. But the thing is, Frost doesn't say what difference it made. It's such a powerful, open-ended ending. What are your thoughts on that?
It's brilliant, isn't it? Leaving it up to the reader or the listener to decide. Some people interpret it as a triumphant statement, like, I took the risk, I followed my gut, and it led me to something amazing. But others read it as tinged with regret, like, I wonder what would have happened if I'd chosen differently. What did I miss out on?
Wow, yeah.
But I think the real point is that the choice did matter. It shaped the speaker's life, for better or worse. And isn't that ultimately what matters, that our choices have an impact?
This is all making me think about that time I quit my stable 9 to 5 too, like go all in on my passion project. I was terrified, but it totally changed my trajectory. Just like the poem says, it made all the difference.
Exactly. And we all have those roads not taken moments in our lives, big and
Yeah.
small. The thing about this poem, though, is that it's not really a guidebook on which path to choose, you know? It's more like a mirror reflecting this universal human experience of grappling with choices and their consequences.
So we've gone through this poem together, seen its beauty and complexity.
Yeah.
But here's what I keep coming back to. If Frost was right about how much we deceive ourselves when it comes to making choices, how can we be more honest with ourselves when faced with those big decisions in life?
Hmm.
It's a question I think we all need to ask ourselves.
I agree. And there's probably not an easy answer.
No, but it's definitely something we're thinking about.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for walking this road with me today. It's been a fascinating journey.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to dive into Frost.
Until next time.
See ya.